The Grand Council chamber fell silent as Admiral Torque stood before the projection. His four eyes blinked nervously at the gathered representatives of the Galactic Federation. "Esteemed members," he began, his translator device converting his clicks into standard galactic speech. "Our exploration fleet has discovered a previously unmapped planet in Sector 7G. Initial scans indicate troubling results." The holographic display expanded, showing a blue-green world with swirling white clouds. To the untrained eye, it appeared peaceful, even inviting. But the data scrolling beside it told a different story. This planet exhibits environmental conditions that classify it as a Class 15 Deathworld, Torque continued, causing murmurs to spread through the chamber. Extreme temperature variations from polar ice to scorching deserts. Atmospheric pressure and composition that would crush or poison most sentient species. Gravity 1.5 times the galactic standard, and most concerningly, the highest concentration of predatory species we've documented in this quadrant. Council Leader Fix raised a slender appendage. "Admiral, remind the Council what the highest previously documented Deathworld classification was." "Class 12, Leader." "The methane storms of Chronax 9, Torque replied. "No known sentient species has evolved on anything above a Class 8. The chamber erupted in conversation until Fix called for order. "What do you recommend, Admiral?" "Quarantine protocols." Torque's exoskeleton seemed to shift uncomfortably. "That's the second part of my report, Leader. The planet is already inhabited by a sentient species." The projection changed to show bipedal creatures with minimal protective covering, no visible natural weapons, and fragile-looking bodies. These are the dominant species, calling themselves humans. They appear to lack natural defenses, yet have somehow become the apex life form on this death world. Our preliminary observations suggest they've developed technology comparable to mid-level 3 civilization standards. The scientific advisor, Dr. Meal, leaned forward. "Impossible. No species could evolve sentience in such conditions without significant natural defenses." "The evidence suggests otherwise," Torque replied. "And there's more. Our stealth probes recorded this." The display changed to show a human lifting an object many times its own mass. Another scene. A human running at speeds that would exhaust most Federation species within seconds. A third, a human continuing to function despite sustaining injuries that would incapacitate any council member. "Their endurance, strength, and resilience defy our understanding of biology," Torque said. "They routinely consume substances that would be toxic to us. They can survive injuries that would be fatal to most species. Their sleep cycle allows them to remain active far longer than standard sentience." A trade representative from the Zilix Consortium spoke up. "Have they detected our presence?" "No. We maintained standard observation protocols, but establishing contact presents unprecedented challenges. Our environmental suits cannot withstand their planet's conditions for extended periods." Dr. Meal was reviewing the data with increasing agitation. "Admiral, are you suggesting these humans evolved naturally on this planet, not as colonists from elsewhere?" "All evidence indicates they are native to this world. They call it Earth." The council chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. A species that considered a Class 15 death world merely home. A species whose biology had adapted to conditions the Federation deemed unsurvivable. "There's one final observation," Torque added. "Despite their planet's hostility, despite evolving as prey animals with minimal natural defenses, they've developed a curious trait our xenopsychologists find fascinating. Optimism. They don't view their world as harsh or deadly. They find it beautiful." The projection showed humans swimming in vast oceans teeming with predators, scaling towering mountains in thin atmosphere, trekking across scorching deserts, all while displaying what appeared to be enjoyment. Council Leader Fix spoke after a long pause. "What are your recommendations, Admiral?" "We have 3 options. Quarantine the planet and avoid contact, attempt communication from orbit, or send a heavily protected diplomatic mission to the surface." Captain Wren, who had remained silent until now, stood up. As the youngest officer, ever appointed to the Council's military division, his perspective was often valued for its unconventionality. With respect, there's a fourth option, he said. We invite them to us. Gasps and protests filled the chamber. Consider what we've learned, Wren continued. A species that evolved on a Class 15 Deathworld would find our environments trivial to navigate. They could go places we cannot, endure conditions we find lethal. If they're as adaptable as the data suggests, they could become our greatest allies or our most formidable adversaries. You suggest bringing potential predators into our midst? Someone objected. I suggest acknowledging that the galaxy just became a more complicated place, Wren replied. We've built our civilization believing we understood the limits of biological evolution. These humans prove us wrong, and I, for one, am curious what else they might teach us. Admiral Torque nodded slowly. Captain Wren raises valid points. Furthermore, our long-range scans indicate the humans are advancing rapidly. Within decades, they'll develop faster than light travel. Contact is inevitable. Council Leader Fix considered this information, all four hands steepled in thought. Prepare a diplomatic vessel. We will send an invitation to these humans. But Admiral, yes, Leader? Make sure the diplomatic team understands what they're facing. And perhaps equip the ship with our strongest shields, just in case these Deathworld denizens don't understand the concept of peaceful contact. As the council session adjourned, Dr. Meal approached Captain Wren privately. Do you really believe they could be allies? The scientist asked. Wren gazed at the holographic image of Earth, still rotating in the center of the chamber. What I believe, he said quietly, is that any species that could look at that planet and call it home has a perspective the Federation desperately needs. We've grown soft, Doctor, too comfortable. These humans have been forged in fire we cannot imagine. And if they're hostile, Wren's expression turned grim, then we'd better hope they're also reasonable, because I wouldn't want to face an enemy that considers a Class 15 Deathworld merely an inconvenience. As the image of Earth faded, the two aliens contemplated the uncertain future, and the remarkable creatures who had defied all galactic understanding simply by existing.